So today I just talk about every single one of the mini games in Fall Guys and my short little opinion on them. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Fall Ball. It's like Rocket League but without the cars. And there's also 2 balls for some reason, and for some reason the game is even harder to play. It's alright, but not amazing. Egg Scramble. It's like the digital version of Hungry Hungry Hippos, just with more sound effects and much more frustrating. Overall, it's a terrible team-based mode and isn't very good at all. It's very, very poorly made. Especially with how often 2 of the 3 teams will gang up on another team, this one just isn't worth being in the game. Hoarders, another team-based mode where each team must try and collect more balls than the other team, and since there's 2 teams cucking the remaining ones, it's very, very unenjoyable and feels quite redundant. Team Tail Tag, one of the only team-based modes I don't despise with a passion. The goal is for a team to collect more tails than the other teams. It's very chaotic and not too bad, but it's very common and that causes it to feel redundant and boring. Tail Tag. It's like Team Tail Tag, but it's every bean for himself, making the game feel very, very stressful, especially with the inconsistency of tail grabbing distances. Sometimes a player can be point blank and miss the grab, but lose their tail to someone who's easily 1 bean distance away. Jinxed. Who knew it could be so average passing coronavirus to other beans in a digital video game, which is the exact point of this mode. The goal is to make sure that the enemy team is fully infected before yours is, and if you get infected, infect the other beans. It's pretty straightforward, but it's 99% RNG. Royal Fumble. Since the developers ran out of ideas, they made not 2, but 3 tail tag modes. Ranging from teams to solos to there only being 1 damn tail, which means that only 1 person survives this. It's terrible and stressful. Slime Climb. It's literally the hardest minigame in the entire game. Especially since it's so long, with all the players it becomes almost impossible to qualify. The long distance is only made much worse by the rising slime from below, which is an instant kill on touch, and with the easy ability for the bean in front to cuck everyone behind them, it's pretty bad. Perfect Match. It's a fun memory game where players must remember the fruits on the tiles to stand on, or else they'll be dropped into slime. It's pretty easy given that a person can zone out and just run to the largest group of people that will stand on the correct tile, and then just pray to the mighty bean lords that you won't get grabbed and thrown off by some dumb headass. Block Party. It's the Fall Beans version of Hole in the Wall. You stand on a platform as you try and avoid the large blocks that are flying at you. It's pretty simple and actually pretty fun. Tiptoe, a game where you'll have to find a secret path in a patch of orange squares. The fake blocks disappear and cause people to fall and die, but the correct blocks will be extremely slippery and sometimes beans will randomly slide off and die, causing them to not qualify. It's still not as bad as playing Fortnite, however. Rock and Roll. It involves beans pushing a large ball through a small obstacle course and push it into the goal at the end. Sometimes it goes fine, but all the time there's a few players trying to cuck the other team's balls by preventing them from getting farther down the ramp, which is stressful but overall a pretty good mode. Hoopsie Daisy. The only real way to glorify Kobe Bryant is to make a game where colorful beans have to dunk themselves into hoops to score points faster than other teams. It's completely RNG and dumb and quite unenjoyable. Rollout. All the platforms move in opposite directions from one another, and each platform is covered in obstacles, which makes this game very intense, especially since beans love to grab other beans and cuck them and mess them up. It's a pretty good minigame though. Jump Club. All the beans are on a circular platform as 3 beams spin around in an attempt to knock people off. It's quite easy as long as you keep an eye on the lower green beam, making sure that the upper pink beam isn't aligned when it comes across your bean. Pretty good mode overall, and very, very reminiscent of the early 2000s show Wipeout. Jump Showdown. It's almost identical to Jump Club, except the circular platform the beans stand on will gradually fall apart, and there's also 2 bottom beams that you have to watch out instead of only 1. It's also always the last minigame as well that gets played for the win, which makes it even more stressful because there's less players. Fruit Shoot. One of the shortest obstacle-based game modes in Fall Beans. The objective is to run along a ramp and avoid the giant falling fruit that is hurled at innocent beans below. Be careful because if you're hit once, that could be the end, but it's pretty good and fun overall. Fall Mountain. The last minigame of a match sometimes, and it revolves around beans running up a colorful mountain while avoiding a few fairly easy obstacles to reach the giant crown at the end of the course. It's pretty good overall, but the beans who get spawned in front have a much higher chance of winning than the beans in the back. DoorDash. It's very misleading since there isn't any food involved, but the goal is to run through a series of doors to get to the finish line. Some of the doors are walls, and other doors break and let players through. It's interesting and quite fun, and overall one of the better minigames. Gate Crash. Beans will run towards the finish line and get past the rising and sinking gates in the ground that go up and down. It takes some keen timing and skill to get past, but overall it's a fun and simple game to play. Hit Parade. It's one of the average and typical obstacle courses in Fall Guys, and it's pretty straightforward and simple, and due to that simplicity, it's one of the best game modes in Fall Guys. Seesaw, a game that everyone hated when the game released, but has gotten more used to. It's personally one of, if not my favorite modes. The beans basically have to run over a bunch of slippery seesaws with very funky mechanics, and the other players will try and mess you up and tilt the seesaw away from you or make you slide off when you jump on it. Pretty frustrating, but pretty easy overall, and I do enjoy it. Dizzy Heights, one of the most simplistic modes in Fall Guys, and it revolves around beans jumping from a spinning floor to a floor spinning in the opposite direction. It's pretty easy overall, and a good mode to play, especially for new players. The Whirligig. Beans will jump across various circular platforms while they have spinning beams on them which can knock players off. When the beans are alone, it's pretty easy and straightforward, but if there's crowds of beans on one platform, prepare for utter chaos. Hexagon. Arguably the best mode in Fall Guys, and it is one of my favorite games. Beans will run across platforms that are made up of small hexagons, and every time a player runs across a hexagon, it will disappear shortly after, and the bean will fall to a level below. Last player alive wins, and I love this mode. So that's it, guys. What do you think about all the different games in Fall Guys? Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? And hopefully in the future, some of these modes will be getting changed out for better and more enjoyable ones, but we'll just have to see, of course. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys have not downloaded Fall Guys yet, please make sure to download it. It's very enjoyable. Anyways guys, have a great day. Peace out.